All right, here we are. Back for another test into the void. So obviously a very slow day today so far. Back and forth. We barely actually we didn't get past. We touched the previous day high and now we're reversing back off of it. I'm gonna see if there's some kind of turnaround indicated right up in here in the form of a breaker. See if we can take advantage of that and try to jump on for a small move. So the concept, as we discussed yesterday, you're just looking for moves at the top and the bottom of the hour in the form of a breaker. We would also use a mitigation block, but a lower probability than a breaker. So here's a very, very small one. Low, high, lower, low. We do have a lot of wicks down here. We have that fair value gap that it looks like it's touched. 15 minutes down, hour, it just turned positive. The 4 hour, it looks like a little doji just turning positive too. This is non-farm payroll week, so until the report comes out, most of the action that we got might have happened yesterday. And obviously this is a practice account. It's totally sim. Whatever I'm doing, don't follow my trades anyhow. All right, so we're coming back up. What we're looking for here is a low, high, lower, low. We're looking for close above this high right here. And it can even happen right before this time frame of below the hour, above the hour, or you can have it inside of it. So that's what we're looking for right here. This didn't give much of a clear picture, so we're looking for it to take place inside here. Don't know if I showed it yesterday, but This is non-farm payroll week because of the small shutdown that they had. Now it came up, hasn't closed above yet. See, I poked through right there and then got a rejection. But yeah, I use fair value gaps. I try to see what works, you know, and that's what you have to do. Observe and see what works, and then what clicks in with your personality and the time frame that you're trading. So it's really, getting trading down is really a three-part puzzle. As you can see, this is a beautiful breaker down here that happened in the 950 macro right up before it. So you got a low, a high, a lower low. It came back up, it closed above this high, and then took off. So that's the image that you need to burn in your brain if you want to just understand what I'm trying to do. Again, don't wake up and don't follow my trades. So you can see right here, I usually shoot for a 1-to-1. This actually turned out to be a 2-to-1. That first hour usually has the best moves of the day, especially with non-farm payroll. Wednesday morning, 8:30 Eastern. The rest of the time up until then might be just a sideways. But we're gonna give this a shot. More so, it's just to practice patience in our trades. Again, this is sim. This is no real money. Alright, let's try and excuse me. 5 minutes about to close. I want to see what that looks like on the higher time frame chart. Alright, I was closing positive. We're back up about this fair value gap. But we did not close above the breaker. See, it's interesting to see once you're involved in price, and once you either have a target mentally or something on the screen, something you executed, obviously price is going to come around that, and you're going to see every little move near that as something personal. So just be prepared for that. Nice rejection. Like I was saying yesterday in the live stream, those 5-minute bars have a lot of weight, and you can see movement changes a lot in the closes of those 5-minute bars. All right, still just a lot of high resistance in here. Inside the liquidity, we're not really flowing much at all. Obviously, like I said, that first hour, you can get some decent moves, but after that, I'll go ahead and pull up the Forex factory. So I just have a red folder and orange folder. Just USA, keep everything on New York time. There you go, 11:02 is when this came up. I'll update it. So as of 11:08 New York, you can see right here on Wednesday, non-farm employment change. So that's not ADP, that's the official employment rate. All that's been moved because of the temporary shutdown. Release date delayed 5 days. Obviously, all this is in the first week. Usually that's why the first week kind of sets the tone for the month, but right now that more than likely has the market on pause after it got some business settled yesterday and this morning. And also look for it to be like fairly obvious. Sometimes they'll happen, a breaker will happen and I'll miss it. But if it's not obvious, then you run the risk of trying to seek a trade and then jumping down to super smaller time frames, like 15-second. Then he's like, oh, well, there's a breaker right there. Boom. Oh, this could be one here. There's one right there. You know, you start to see things that aren't as powerful on a higher time frame, and then they're not going to have the follow through, and you could force yourself into a bad trade pretty easily. So since we didn't get anything in that macro, you can see just the sideways wash. It still might be referencing and trying to use this fair value gap. The way I use them is I want to see how price is using them, and if it's respecting them or disrespecting them, and then I want to do the same. So looking for another breaker or possible mitigation block inside of this next macro. Again, the macros are just around the top of the hour, around the bottom of the hour throughout the day. Obviously the most important one at the 9:30 open. But that one today wasn't very clear either. It was just especially at least on a 1 minute chart. I'm not even going to go down to the smaller charts just to try to find something, because then they could be justified. So leave it alone. It's not super clear on the 1 minute chart. Pass. And we didn't get a sweep of these lows. We did get a sweep here, as in this movement swept the liquidity right down here. This did not sweep the liquidity here, so you could have stops right here looking for longs. This does turn into a breaker. It's an incredibly sloppy one. So how is the volume here? I know the music is pretty cool, so I want to keep that at a level where you can just, if I'm on and droning, you at least get some benefit and entertainment out of the music. But obviously, since this is a test, I'm just trying to see how that's working out with the dialogue as well. All right, this 5 minutes about to turn positive now. And we're coming up on the bottom of the hour macro. Nice wick. If it does go in here, then targets would probably be these highs all along here for that liquidity. And you can usually use this manipulation leg on the breaker to kind of plot out what would you like. So if it correlates with liquidity, that's even better. And if it doesn't, you know, you just use that one-to-one. And also, I try to adjust it to where I'm getting one-to-one from where I enter, because usually you're not going to enter exactly at that point anyhow. So you kind of have to adjust it for your parameters, what you're looking to do. But if you want to maintain one-to-one on your specific trade, then obviously you have to go one-to-one from your entry point. All right, it's coming up. Looking to possibly close above. to make the breaker, and then it might dance around a little bit till it gets into this window. And it doesn't mean only price moves inside this window. Obviously there's no absolutes in trading whatsoever. It just gives me specifically, and that's what I'm looking to do, is what a trader model is something that fits you. It gives me a specific way to set my patience aside, or just treat it, say, hey, look, you get to look at another trade in 10 minutes, so just relax and chill. So it gives me a window that I can focus on without, what about this, what about that? Especially a lot of different trader concepts, ICT, whoever, smart money, whoever it is, you can just get lost in all the ideas. And so you can sit there and spin your wheels, just like, what about this, what about that, what about that, oh, the VWAP, oh, the volume, oh, the blah blah blah, and then you never make a decision. So you got to lock in on something that fits your personality. I keep saying that over and over and over. That's so important, because if you're a longer idea, you want to take a trade for the entire day, then you don't need to be down on a 30-second 1-minute chart trying to scalp. And if you do better with trends, maybe EMAs work for you. So there's a lot of different things. A lot of people laugh at EMAs, but if it's in a trending market, it works beautifully. So you got to fit what works for you, and not just keep running around from one idea to the next, and then inside that idea, shrink it down to something that actually works, that you can put into a formula or a model that says, this is where I entry, this is my stop, these are my parameters, this is my target, this is how I'm gonna risk. So here we're coming up on that bottom of the hour. Did not close above it again, but we are coming back into this fair value gap. If you wanted to be super aggressive, if I wanted to be super aggressive, because it's my style, you're not following my trades, right? Then I could go ahead and enter here to get a better idea, because I am in some kind of structure, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wait for the obvious close and then go for the one-to-one. And I'm going to add to this music, so it's not, right now it's about a 10-minute loop, so you do hear the same songs after about 10 minutes or so. So I am going to expand that with a bigger catalog of songs, so it doesn't repeat as often, especially for longer streams. So what if this reverses? What if this does turn into a down move? Let's look at our higher time frames again. 5 minute, like, stop, turn around right there, just like it's been doing. But 15 minutes down, hours down, your 4 hour is down now. Started 10 o'clock. So if this is going to turn into a down move, we could look for a down breaker. It's very, very sloppy. It's not clean at all. All right, it is coming down. So if we did want to do something to the downside, we do. It's just ugly, low, high, lower, low. I mean, that's a stretch and a half. I mean, it could just be coming down to sweep this, and then bam, and then go back up. So let's just do it for some practice here. Especially because you're hour, 4 hour on our side to the downside.
Order filled. What we think, we become. Don't wake up. Don't wake up.
I am allowed myself
Don't wake up.
one entry back in,
Don't
especially since it's
wake
back
up.
in this breaker.
What we think, we become. Don't order filled up.
And we'll see how it goes.
Don't wake up.
Since that would be the stop. That would be the one. Especially with the price action we had back here, that's a pretty long reach, but again, this is practice. Practicing the stream, practicing everything, so
Up.
see how it goes.
Don't wake up.
Had 5 minutes coming, hit the middle of that fair value gap, and now it's bouncing up. But again, higher time frames are down, so we shall see. Getting a curiosity about your trades is helpful in that it keeps you less emotionally attached. And then, you know, the price action looks pretty crappy. I mean, you can always bug out, just scratch. I just, as far as a short trade goes, I don't like that 5 minute coming back into that fair value gap, and then now, yeah, obviously taking off once it made a wick into that center. So I'm thinking if it does come back down to break even, I'm just going to scratch.
Order filled.
So that's one thing in this herky-jerky movement. You know, I didn't want to just bug out because I don't know where the trade's going to go, but I did want to take the opportunity to just go into scratch and just reset. So that's something you can always do. You don't have to, every trade doesn't have to be a big winner, and you definitely don't want it to be a big loser. So sometimes if it's not going your way and then new information comes to light, just scratch it and get ready for the next trade. So like I said, when I came back over here and saw that wick, that 5-minute wicked into the middle of this fair value gap, like I know the higher time frames are with me, but right now, 5 minutes can be so powerful in and of themselves, in their moves, in their singular moves. I was like, I just don't want to chance it. Go ahead and bug out of here. And so we got out for a scratch. I mean, it's a scratch. So this macro will end this test. I do want to see how it plays out, and then we're really close to lunchtime, so it's a good time to avoid more of this sideways action. And I'm watching it follow through as well, because sometimes it does just this. And we'll see. It hadn't done it yet, but sometimes your original idea will play out. And then you can learn something from that. It's not a, slight on you. It's not a ding to your personal value or your self-worth. Just learn. If you look at your mistakes as learning experiences and not a validation that you don't, that you're not who you think you are, or where you want to be, then you're just going to keep beating yourself up and beating yourself into the ground. You look at things as a lesson, and then you build on it. Take the lesson, learn the lesson, and use it moving forward. See, the middle of that fair value gap is still, playing around with price. It keeps bouncing off of that. Not to say they can hold up forever, but in the size, in the time frame and the size of the trade that I'm taking, I can't hold out for one big run of a 5, because something can happen. It could keep going. So that's why I bug. But it's another big tool, like I said before, to develop that curiosity. Like, how is the trade actually going to work out? Aside from your emotional investment into the trade, the more you can lessen that emotional investment, the more you can increase just your pure intellectual curiosity, the more you can detach from that trade and actually learn something, win or lose. So again, I moved this over here because see how this respected this fair value gap. Now this is inside that fair value gap from a very long time ago, but obviously this one is more relevant and it pretty much matches that one for the most part. So I just use this one right here as a closer reference. Now the trade that I had played out, so I don't want to go back in here, you know, and say, oh, okay, well now it's working, now I'll jump on board. Obviously that's pure FOMO, but again, I am curious to see how it plays. Now it's pushing. And we're still in the bottom of the hour macro time. But coming up on lunch and ADP tomorrow, it looks like it's keeping in check for now. Now it does form a better breaker inside of this. Now that is new information. That could be a new trade here. So you got again a low, a high, a lower low, and then we're sweeping. We swept these lows, so that liquidity swept right there. But that's why it gets more and more difficult in the slower action time, high resistance, liquidity time, and the closer we get to lunch as well too, because you get so many little false moves and pops. The paint is dry and slow today. look like it's happening to the upside. This higher time frame is still more in control. All right, well, the macros are about to finish up at 11:40, so I am going to shut it down at that time. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you're seeing this, again, this is a test in sim, about sim. Do not follow my trades. Find your own model. That's what we're doing here. Being supportive, keeping each other out of tilt, and helping each other find their own model in a collaborative way. So thanks a lot for checking us out, and we will be back.